It has been my honor to narrate the saga of Salah Ad-Din, a tale that echoes long after the credits roll. If you find yourself moved by his story, if his deeds have resonated with your spirit, then know this: your feelings are shared by many. Saladin's legacy is not confined to history books or timelines. It's a living sentiment. If you've resonated with this series, share your thoughts. What did Saladin's story evoke within you? What aspect of his journey touched you the most? Let us know in the comments. Your voice matters. Now, let's turn back time and lose ourselves once again in the mesmerizing narrative of Saladin. As-salamu alaikum. In the winter of 1193, Damascus was cloaked in snow, a quiet blanket over a city once vibrant with the energy of its great leader. Salah Ad-Din's final days were approaching. The first rays of dawn painted the horizon with hues of pink and orange, a final sunrise for the great Sultan. Inside his bedchamber, away from the hustle and bustle of a kingdom he had built, Saladin lay weakened yet resolute. Every breath was a struggle, every blink a conscious decision. But his eyes, those pools of wisdom and steel, remained open, gazing at the ceiling as if searching the heavens for his next mission. By his side sat Al-Ayyubi, his eldest son and heir apparent, also his brother, bearing witness to the ebb of life. Unlike the boisterous court of old, this moment demanded silence, the kind that spoke volumes. It was a hush filled with reverence, not for the Sultan as a ruler, but for Saladin, the fading embers of a great fire, watching over the flickering flame that would soon replace him. When physicians proffered their remedies, he simply said, "Let them pray instead," his faith unwavering even at the end. To Al-Ayyubi, he dictated a letter to his vizier, outlining his last wishes, simple and austere. No lavish funeral, no ostentatious display of wealth, just a swift burial so that his body would return to the earth from which it came. Days melted into one another, each marked by the Sultan's weakening grasp on life. Yet it was during these moments of frailty that the true measure of a man shines through. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of purple and red, Saladin summoned the Imam Al-Faqih. He wanted one last sermon, not in the grand mosque before thousands, but here in the quiet of his chamber. The Imam spoke of bravery, of how Salah Ad-Din had led armies with valor, of justice, of how he ruled cities with fairness, and of humility, of how he never forgot he was a servant of the people. He led armies and bowed in prayer, the Imam proclaimed, his voice echoing with emotion. He ruled cities and owned no palace. These words, like stones in a riverbed, skipped across the surface of Saladin's memories, creating ripples of emotion. Each day brought new challenges. Each night offered moments of lucidity, of conversation, of fatherly advice to Al-Ayyubi on how to rule, how to pray, how to live a life of purpose. In between, there were bouts of fever, moments of confusion and the constant ache of mortality. One afternoon, as a gentle breeze rustled the curtains, Saladin's grip on the world around him slipped. The faces of family and advisors swam before his eyes. Then, like a crashing wave, memories flooded his consciousness, each one a testament to a life well lived. There was the time he stood against the Crusaders, not on the field of battle, but in the halls of diplomacy, securing the release of Christian captives with nothing but his word. There was the day he toured the great mosque of Damascus, marveling not at his place on the throne, but at the intricate beauty of the arches and domes. And there was the quiet evening he spent poring over his son's school books, realizing the future of his dynasty lay not in arms, but in knowledge. As these memories played on a loop in his mind, he knew his end was near. With a strength born of resolve, he turned to his assembled family and friends. His voice, though raspy, held the power that once commanded armies. "I leave behind no gold," he said, "no crown, only a name. May it carry meaning, not praise." A tear rolled down Al-Ayyubi's face. He understood. His father wasn't just a sultan. He was a symbol, a beacon of justice and mercy. And that legacy, he swore, would outlive them all. Taking his brothers aside, Saladin entrusted them with the task of carrying on his legacy, reminding them that true leadership lay not in the trappings of power, but in serving the people. His last words echoed in their ears, "Rule with justice and compassion." And then, as if the heavens themselves were listening, the Sultan's eyes fluttered closed. The room fell silent, heavy with grief and the weight of an era ending. Al-Ayyubi, kneeling beside his father's bier, whispered, "You are the Sultan of my heart, and my reign will be in accordance with your teachings." Outside, the winter winds seemed to sigh, carrying the news of the Sultan's passing through the streets of Damascus. It was a chill that went beyond the weather. The following day, as the sun rose over a morning Damascus, the news spread like wildfire. From the top of the minarets, Imams cried, Salah Ad-Din is gone. In the marketplaces, shopkeepers wiped tears off their weathered hands, and in the Sultan's court, courtiers sank to their knees. Word reached Jerusalem, where the streets once walked by Saladin now reverberated with laments. Even the Crusaders, his sworn enemies, lowered their banners to half-mast, for in their ranks were men who had fought not just against a sultan, but against a force of nature. Across the Muslim world, the reaction was one of disbelief and profound sorrow. In Baghdad, the Abbasid Caliph wept openly in the mosque. In Cairo, ordinary citizens held vigils. And in Cordoba, scholars paused their lessons to remember the man who balanced faith and intellect on the scales of justice. Buried beneath the earth, beneath the very city he had defended, Saladin became one with the soil. No gold in his coffin, no jewels adorning his body. His shroud was plain, his grave even plainer. The gravedigger, a rough man with calloused hands and a gruff exterior, looked at the meager belongings gathered around the Sultan. Is this all he left? He asked, incredulously. Al-Adil, sitting patiently beside the grave, nodded. It is more than most kings ever truly give, he said, gesturing not to the riches of the realm, but to the life of service, of sacrifice, and of unwavering commitment to a cause greater than oneself. The next morning, the moon hung low in the sky, casting an ethereal glow over Damascus. It was the time of the Fajr prayer, the first of the 5 daily rituals in Islam. At the Sultan's grave, a small gathering of family, friends and loyal subjects stood in quiet contemplation. Amongst them were Al-Adil, now the keeper of Saladin's legacy, a gravedigger seeking forgiveness for his earlier doubts, and a young page who had served Saladin with unwavering devotion. They were an unlikely assembly, united in their grief and their admiration for the man they had loved and followed. As they bowed in unison, the sounds of the city slowly faded away, replaced by the whisper of the wind and the rustling of leaves. In that moment of quiet communion, they found solace in the belief that their beloved Sultan had found his in the embrace of eternity. Years passed, turning into decades. Saladin's face, once stern yet benevolent, now adorned only coins and aging manuscripts. But his deeds, they were carved in stone tablets in the hearts of men. In a schoolroom in Jerusalem, lit by the warm glow of oil lamps, a child sat cross-legged on a rug. Around him, other children of different faiths, backgrounds and beliefs were gathered, their eyes shining with curiosity and wonder. Their teacher, a man whose beard held the wisdom of ages, was explaining to them the stories of courage, faith and leadership. Who was he? The child asked, his voice echoing with awe. Was he a prophet? The teacher smiled, his eyes twinkling. No, he said, just a man who acted like one. And with those simple words, he encapsulated the essence of the man who had once been the Sultan of all three, of wisdom and valor, of compassion and justice. As the child pondered these words, he looked up at the night sky, at the crescent moon hanging like a silver sickle above the horizon. Below it, the dome of the rock shimmered, a golden beacon against the backdrop of the darkening sky. In that moment, the child understood that the legacy of one man could transcend time, leaving an impact that echoed through generations. That night, as a gentle breeze caressed the ancient city, the stars twinkled merrily in the velvet expanse above. The air was alive with the scent of jasmine and the distant call of the muezzin, echoing through the still air. In the heart of it all stood the dome of the rock, a silent sentinel guarding the memory of a great leader, a man who had dared to dream of a world where differences were bridged and peace prevailed. From the lofty heights of the Temple Mount, one could see the sprawling city of Jerusalem bathed in the soft moonlight, the winding streets, the bustling markets, and the peaceful homes nestled together, forming a tapestry of humanity as diverse as it was beautiful. It was a sight that stirred the soul and reminded one of the richness of life, of its challenges and its triumphs, of its sorrows and its enduring hope. For in this city, as in many others across the world, the story of Saladin was more than a tale of the past. It was a testament to the power of unity, a reminder of the strength that lay in diversity, and a beacon of inspiration for generations to come. And so the tale of Saladin, the Sultan who became a legend, continued to echo through the corridors of time, carrying with it a message of courage, justice and the relentless pursuit of a better world. Assalamu alaikum, until we meet again.